Welcome to the 5 Steps of Teaming. I'm Mary Ellen Shevalier and happy to introduce to you this method of teaming created by Sheive Metivier, copywritten in 1994. Before we have our overview, let's take a look at this mind map that we'll be using to study from. Notice that the central idea is about respect and trust for your fellow teammates. The 5 steps of teaming, although we'll be going over them quite quickly at this time, you'll have opportunity and access to this file so that you can review. When asked to experience teaming and practice the 5 steps, don't worry, we'll have some more resources set out for you at your table to help you remember the 5 steps. Before you go through the 5 steps of teaming, I would like you to pay attention to some things that we'll be repeating that are important for successful teaming. Teams are to agree by consensus. Consensus is a dialogue that you have until you reach agreement. Sometimes team members have to agree to disagree, and they compromise. Consensus is how you reach all agreements in teaming. Also, we'll be talking about setting ground rules and what roles you wish to take for your teaming process. Roles such as facilitator, recorder, timekeeper, and reporter. These jobs can remain the same throughout your teaming experience, or you may decide to rotate them. We'll be emphasizing to sit in a circle facing one another so that you can maximize your seeing and listening. It's also important to know up front that team members will be expected to do pre, mid, and post assessments of themselves and each of their teammates. This will ensure accountability and fairness in your teaming. Let's begin. 5 steps of teaming. The central idea is respect. If you give respect, you'll receive respect. To trust and respect your teammates is indicated this way. Trust that they are also there to have a successful teaming experience, and that your team members also want success. Respect one another, particularly respect your differences in opinions and in learning styles, differences in your strengths and your weaknesses. It's these very differences that will help your team be a strong team. Now, what kinds of roles do you play? You're going to choose one or assist another team member in one of the roles. Here are the descriptions. Facilitator. Again, notice that these team members are sitting in a circle facing one another. One of them is facilitating, another is taking notes, and the others are listening attentively. But what are some skills of a good facilitator? A facilitator is someone who sees themselves equally to their team members. They're not a power tripper. They never pressure or power over a team member. A facilitator will keep a consistent round table approach, meaning that they go from one person to the other to ask for input. A good facilitator will keep the team members on task. It's easy to get off topic, and a facilitator will gently remind them to go back on topic. And they encourage participation from everyone. Some people are shy or embarrassed or nervous to give input. And a good facilitator will ask probing questions to help encourage participation. The facilitator might ask their other team members for help in this area as well. Again, take a look at the round circle, round table approach. This method pays off. It's not your natural way to have dialogue, but when you do this round table approach, everyone is encouraged to participate equally. This method pays off. Trust it. Practice it. Next, we have a recorder. We need a recorder to take down and document the minutes of the meeting. They can consolidate the information, and you can record on whatever is easiest for your style. You can use your laptop or iPad, or even a note and pen. The timekeeper. Some people think this is the easiest job, but in fact, the timekeeper has to be very aware. They have to be able to separate keeping track of the time with getting into the dialogue and discussion that's going on in their team. In fact, if the team decides that each person will have 1 minute to give their input as they go round table, the timekeeper has to gently remind them that your minute is up and go on to the next person. Another method of timekeeping is if the team decides that they're going to dialogue for 10 minutes and then summarize for 3. The timekeeper then will keep track of those differences, and a good timekeeper will even give a 1 or 2 minute warning to keep everyone on track. Finally, we have the reporter. The reporter is someone who will give the information out to either the audience or perhaps a supervisor that's going by to see what the team has been working on. The reporter is the person who will speak up and consolidate and paraphrase the information that their team was discussing. Next, we have ground and rules. Ground rules are essential to a productive team. Ground rules are those kinds of things that the team members decide on before you even get into dialogue of your topic or the problem that you want to solve. Here are some examples of ground rules. Again, we're reminding you to sit in a circle for eye contact, and so you are able to respectfully listen while others talk. But your ground rules might also be discussion about behaviors or the language that you use, the responsibilities and how you handle them. It might be about what contact information you wish to exchange, or if you want to create a blog to keep all your notes on. Here is where some teams wish to identify their strengths and weaknesses. Some other decisions might be about those who are absent and how those decisions will be held up. Also, it might be about how to keep things equitable and time commitments. Next, we have brainstorming. Brainstorming, unlike brainstorming, is very fluid. It's about letting your ideas flow. Brainstorming can be fun and exciting. Some people get a little nervous with brainstorming, but you shouldn't. Brainstorming is when you just let your ideas go, and sometimes, although they might be a little bizarre, you want to offer up your brainstormed ideas because they can spark another idea in one of your team members' minds. So remember, as you go round table, offer up something for the brainstorming session. You'll be surprised at how many new ideas will come from that. The next thing you'll do after you brainstorm some of your ideas based on your topic is you're going to categorize them and then prioritize them. To categorize is to put your ideas or dialogue into certain groups. You can categorize however it makes sense to you and your team members. But to clump the ideas together helps to simplify all of your choices. Then you're going to prioritize them, meaning what do you like the best and like the least? What is the most important to have done or discuss, and which is the least important? Decide what your priorities are based on what you wish to accomplish through your team discussion, and then you'll know how to prioritize. It makes it a lot easier to make choices after you prioritize. Finally, you'll be at the part of the teaming that you will create, and after you create, you will give assessments to yourself and teammates. Creating takes participation, equal participation, and when the whole team comes together to create the final stages of our teaming, which leads us to the creation of our project, and then our assessment. So during the creative process, There are many ways that people will go about problem solving or planning on giving a presentation, for example. This is where everybody's differences comes into play in a very positive way. As we are all different and bring to the team our different strengths, we can all contribute those strengths in creating our product. So think about everyone coming together with their strengths, participating fully, so that you can have a much better product than if you had been working alone. Finally, you're going to assess yourself and one another as a team member. This takes trust and transparency. We had said earlier that you will be doing a pre, mid, and post assessment. Sometimes there'll be rubrics, or maybe a survey online, or maybe a little essay. Whatever way you're asked to give your assessments, be truthful and transparent. This will ensure respect and equal accountability and fairness in the teaming process. So good luck with all of your teaming. And perhaps, if there's time, after your teaming, we'll have the reporter report out to the class. Let's get ready to practice some teaming. Thanks for listening.